What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Universal Mastery. Welcome to my YouTube channel. What I do here is I break down the occult sciences to a very practical level so that you can use them and apply them in your day-to-day life and get real, actual results, okay? What I'm gonna be doing in today's video is something that I recently just incorporated in my channel that's gonna be something that's gonna be ongoing and consistent, which is weekly predictions, what to expect for the week ahead, okay? So just to give you a little bit of clarity on who I am, my name is Jeremiah Schwartz, and I am a professional occultist, fully initiated in Kabbalah, the top of the tree and the bottom. I'm studied with tarot, and I'm also studied in astrology, okay? So that's just to give you a little bit of clarity on who I am, who's giving you this video today. And the dates of this reading that we're gonna be going into is from March 8th all the way to March 14th. So in this reading, I'm going to be explaining what you can expect, depending on which card you choose, to happen to you within this week and what to expect. Hopefully, I'm giving you awareness on what you can improve on or what you can be looking for, you know, so that you can honestly get the most out of this week that's ahead. Okay, so other than that, if you want to know what to expect within this week, March 8th through the 14th, then stay tuned for the rest of the video. Okay, so I'm just going to go right into it. So once again, what I do for my readings is I do a present, near future, and long-term future card. Okay, that is how I base my entire reading. Now, as I said, I'm fully initiated in Kabbalah, so I really can break down symbolism really well, and I'm being very honest when I say that. So I give a complete subjective reading. So you may notice this may not be like most readings you've ever heard in regards to I'm not pulling the card and I'm just thinking about the traditional understanding of what you're getting. I'm breaking it down completely subjectively, but you may hear the traditional aspect of me breaking these cards down because I'm so good at breaking down the symbolism that it actually ends up connecting back to the traditional aspect as well, but I'm also giving you information that's coming from my own personal spirit. So I just want to give you a little bit of clarity on how I do this reading. Okay, so with that being said, the first thing that I do is I always shuffle the deck 22 times. The reason why I do that is because there's 22 different paths on the Kabbalistic tree of life. And if you know about the 22 paths, they're all attributed to the major arcana, and they also trickle down to the minor arcana as well. So I always shuffle 22 times just to connect it to the Kabbalistic tree of life. Then the next thing, while I'm shuffling this deck, what I want you to do, who's listening, is I want you to pick a number from 1 to 3, okay? I want you to really go inwards. I want you to really feel this out, really try your hardest to tap into your intuition and go with the number that is calling you right now. It's either gonna be a 1, it's either gonna be a 2, or it's either gonna be a 3. Go with that number right now, okay? I'm gonna start shuffling the deck. Okay, so I just shuffled the deck, and now I'm going with a random 3-digit number that's coming to me. My spirit is telling me a number, and it's very clear. The number that I'm gonna draw is 584. So I got 5. So what I do in my readings is I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the 5th card. I put the other ones to the side. I'm gonna put that right there. 84, so then I take the deck, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take the rest of the cards. This is the near future. All right, excuse me. That's not how we're gonna be doing this reading. We're doing what to expect for the week. So it's gonna be based off the number you choose. The first one I picked was for the number 1s. The second one was for the number 2s. Okay, and then the last number that I chose was 4. So I go 1, 2, 3, and this is the 4th. Put those down. So that would be for my number 3s right there. I've been doing so many readings for people that I've been thinking that I thought that this one was going to be a present, near future, long-term future. That's how I do my personal reading. So if you want to book a personal reading after this, you can do that in a second. Like I'll talk about it later in the video. But once again, the way I'm going to do this reading is the first card I just picked is for the number 1s. The second card I just picked was for the number 2s, and the third card I just picked was for the number 3s. Okay, so the reason why I'm having you pick a random 1, 2, or 3 is because I'm linking you to this reading. So whatever your intuition, whatever your spirit is telling you to pick, that's directly connecting to what my spirit chose in regards to the 584. So the cards that I just picked is directly linking you to this reading, okay? So we're gonna start with the number 1s. So if you picked a number 1, here we go. Okay, so the card that I just picked for you, number 1s, is the Hermit. Okay, so we got that. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it. Okay, so first thing that I like to do for my readings is I like to describe what I'm seeing in the picture. Okay, then right after that, I'm going to break down all the symbolism that I see. And as I'm describing this card, what I want you to do is I want you to also connect this back to yourself. I want you to be relating this symbolism to yourself right now, okay? And once again, this is giving you clarity on the energies that you're just starting to feel now and that are going to increase as we move into this next week, from the 8th all the way to the 14th, okay? So here we go. So I'm seeing a guy who is older. He has a lot of hair though, but it's strange because his hair is like in the back of his head. It's almost like he has it's like he's bald up here, but in the back he's got all this white hair. And then he's got a nice long beard. He's wearing a red garment and he's standing in the darkness. Okay, he's obviously in a dark room, but in his right hand, he's holding up this lantern that's extremely bright. It's so bright that it's lighting up a pathway for him. It's lighting up like a tunnel, okay? Now, in his left hand, he's holding on to a staff, okay? He has a big staff, a big wooden staff. And on that staff, there is this serpent. There's literally this massive, it looks like an anaconda that is coiling up his staff and going all the way up to his hand. And I'm seeing on his hand too, he's got like a blue hue to it. There's like a blue mark on it. And on his neck, he has all these different beads. And it even looks like he's got bones. Like it looks like he has literal bones on his necklace. Okay? So that is what I'm seeing. Now let me start breaking down some of this symbolism. So what I'm getting is that the left hand is where he's holding onto the staff. And the left hand always signifies the feminine, okay? The right hand is the masculine, exertive, sends energy. The left hand is the feminine, receptive, pulls in energy. So on his left hand, he's holding a staff. The staff always symbolizes power. It symbolizes strength and it symbolizes power. You could also say it's grounded power, meaning the staff is on the ground. It helps balance you, right? And the fact that it's in his left hand stands for the fact that he has a feminine power to him, And it's a guy. This is obviously a guy in this picture too. But he has a feminine power to him, okay? And this snake that's coiling up the staff as well is indicating even more power. The snake you could think of as the serpentine kundalini energy, right? So there's this serpent that's coiling up his staff that's going all the way up to his hand, and on his hand he has a blue mark. The blue mark stands for water. Blue always stands for water. Blue can also stand for the realm of Bria, which is the feminine realm. It's the emotional realm, okay? So because he's holding on to that staff, and there's that snake that's coiling all the way up to his hand that has blue on it, that's symbolizing that he has a feminine emotional power to him, and that it looks like there could be some sort of already mastery of the emotional state. But regardless, it is definitely symbolizing that there is power to this person's emotions. Okay, so what I can attribute to that is, for all my number ones, either right now or in this week to come, what you're going to be experiencing is you're going to be experiencing emotional strength. Okay, you're also going to be experiencing emotional power. Now, I want to say this. This is the hermit. So the hermit is in a dark room and he's lighting up the way with his lamp. Now, what you're probably also going to be experiencing is isolation. Okay, you're probably also going to be kind of reframed away from the everyday lifestyle of maybe all your friends, or what it may seem like everyone else is doing, right? Like you may have people around you that are going out, having fun, not really paying attention, just doing, following routines, okay? Doing the same things over and over. But the hermit indicates that you are somebody who's really trying to reach your highest potential. Somebody who takes a step back and is like, I really am willing to discipline myself, and I'm really willing to dive into the darkness in order to understand what my potential is. And I'm willing to sit, in this dark room with my own light and learn how to guide myself, learn how to move through this journey that I'm trying to go down, okay? So this is telling me, for my number ones, that you are going to be in a place where it's all about yourself. And when I say that, I mean it's all about the inner being of you. This week is really going to bring a sense of needing to go inwards, and not just needing, but an emotional strength that's going to help encourage you to do that. And if you do this, if you stay in alignment with your true self and you end up going down this road, you're going to find a very large sense of emotional power. And you may also very well find the pathway, or the next path, or the next decision that you need to make, or the next path that you're going to go down, that's going to help further you into uncovering more of yourself. The hermit is a wise being. The hermit is very wise. He spends a lot of time alone. He's by himself, but he understands himself at the same time. He understands why he's going through what he's going through. He's not saying, oh, what are my friends doing? Or what are these people thinking of me? Oh, is this right if I do this? Is this in accordance with society standards? The hermit does what he knows is right for himself, and he's all about staying in alignment with his true self. Now, in his right hand, which is the masculine hand, he's holding the light. So that means that there's a masculine force that's going to be influencing you, number ones, that's going to cause you to bring consciousness to your current situation. So there's going to be an energy that tells you, this is where you are, this is why you're going through what you're going through, and this is the potential power that you can gain. This is the potential power, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge that you can gain if you continue to focus on yourself in this state of darkness, or in this state of isolation or seclusion. Okay? Now, his garment is red. Red always connects back to Mars. That's what I usually always connect red back to, which is fiery. Okay, Mars is passionate as well. Mars can be warfare. Mars can be aggression. It can be aggression towards your passion. So there's going to be a deep sense within you that's going to be fiery. There's going to be something fiery. This card is definitely representing fire. There's something fiery within you that's burning. And that thing that's burning can either burn you out or it can burn you towards what it is that you're trying to achieve. It can cause the ignition for you to thrust yourself deeper into your deeper levels of awareness. Okay, that same fire that can burn somebody and destroy them is also the same fire that can fuel them down the road of their self-development and cause them to reach their highest potential. So we have two aspects that are attributed to this card. One zodiac is the Scorpio, which is already another fiery sign right there. So there's going to be a lot of Scorpio energies that are going to be influencing you in this week to come. That's a fact. Now, I do want to mention this real quick. In the card, as he's holding up the lamp with his right hand, you see in the background the light and how far the light is going, and it's going far. But also the color that's behind the light is a green. It's like a greenish color, and green always symbolizes one, life force. Green is always a great color. Green symbolizes life force, but it also symbolizes the planetary energy of Venus, and Venus is harmonious. Venus is attraction, it's love, it's beauty to a certain degree. It's things that attract you because they look nice and they feel nice. So that's showing that this light that he's able to hold up in this time of isolation and in this time of darkness is going to lead him into that level of harmony, lead him into that level of that beauty and that attraction and love and things in that nature. So I do want to mention that as well. And then his necklace has these what looks to be like bones on it, and that symbolizes that this hermit understands the process of death. So I'll say this for my number ones. You most likely know what it is that you're going through. You most likely know that what's coming in this next week is something that has to happen, right? Because like to a certain degree, to isolate yourself, to be in that darkness and to really dive into yourself, you're dying to the outside world, right? You're dying to what other people may think you are, or who other people may think you are. You're dying to that. And he wears the necklace with all the bones, which symbolizes that he's no new person to the idea or the understandings of death. He understands that, yes, he is dying to the outside world, but he's reawakening and recoming to life within himself. Okay, so that's another aspect that I wanted to mention. Now, there's also a Hebrew letter, so let me break down the Hebrew letter. So the Hebrew letter is Yod. Okay, let me find where Yod is. So Yod stands for hand, okay? And on the tree of life, this is going to be located right about here, okay? So Yod is going right into Chesed, as you can see, and it's right in the middle sphere. So there is a strong energy of that beauty that is influencing you right now. There's a strong energy of your own personal spirit. So that the Hermit card indicates that you've already gotten pretty far on your spiritual self-development. To pull the Hermit card represents that you are no beginner to spirituality. Just as I mentioned with his necklace having the bones on it, he's no newbie to death. And death is essential to understand as you start to go down the path of your own spiritual evolution. So this pathway right here that we see, ruled by Scorpio, is connecting into the sphere of Chesed, which stands for mercy. So you're pulling on energies of Chesed. And in regards to initiation from the Kabbalah, this is the physical plane. And the beginning initiation starts here, then it moves here, here, here. Then you would go here, and then you go here. So right now you're pulling energy from Chesed. But if you were to go in order in regards to your initiation, you need to go here, and then you come over, and then you finish. And from this sphere down is known as the lower 7 realms of fire. then we have the higher realms, okay? In order to get to the higher realms, you have to cross the abyss. But with that being said, that's showing that you're striving to move higher up in your spiritual self-development, okay? That's basically what that's symbolizing. And the sphere of mercy, being chesed, is ruled by Jupiter, which is good fortune, good luck, expansion, things in that nature. So yeah, so that's what your card is indicating. And you know, the best advice I can give for you is continue to trust your spirit, continue to stay in your true self, continue to stay in alignment, and really utilize the time you have where there's that internal fire that's like probably making you a little bit uncomfortable, like I don't really want to be doing this, but then there's that deeper thing within you that's like, but I know I need to be doing this. I know I need to be secluding myself. I know I need to be in isolation. I know I need to start reading this book or going deeper into this practice, whatever that may be for you. Really follow that, because that's going to lead you farther on your spiritual self-development, which is going to make you that's going to make you get into your higher self quicker. And when you're at that place in your life where you have that connection to your own spirit, that's very powerful, and that's going to benefit all the other aspects of your life. So once again, don't stress out about the fact that it may feel like things are slowing down for you, or it may feel like things are like retracting from the outside world. That's normal. These are the energies you're experiencing. So that's what that represents. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. Number ones, that was your reading. Now we're going to go into the number twos. Okay, so for the number twos, I am pulling your card right now. Okay, so I got everything I need from the card. All right, so this is what you pulled. I'm gonna do a close-up so you can see that. Right about there. Okay, so this is the Three of Swords, okay? And what the Three of Swords represents, actually first let me go into this. Let me explain what I'm seeing from the card. So I'm seeing a guy who is dark, very dark-skinned, standing on the left, facing me. Like, so if I'm looking at him like this, he's over here. He's on the left side. But if I'm looking at him directly, he would be on my right. So he's like right over here, like where my right hand is. But if I was to turn around, he'd be on my left. Okay. And then there's a guy on the other side that is light-skinned, and he's standing on my right, okay? But if I'm looking at it like this, he's on the left. So now both of these guys are holding up swords, okay? And then there is a sword, a third sword that's coming straight from the top of the card, pointing downwards, and it's stabbing a heart that is in the middle of these two people. And from that stabbing, there's blood that is literally dripping down in between them. Now, in between them, there's a symbol of the sun. There's a symbolism of the sun. Okay, and then there's all these beams of light that seem to be shooting out. Now, if you look deep in the background, there's also another symbol there, which is a Saturnian symbol. It's the six-pointed star. Okay. And then there's two elements that I'm seeing on both of these guys' garments. Both of these two people that are standing there guarding with their swords up. One of them has the sword in the left hand and the other one has the sword in the right hand, okay? So let me explain what this means. Okay, so what this card represents, first thing I want to say is when it comes to the light-skinned guy and the dark-skinned guy standing right next to each other, that's going to stand for the two different pillars on the Kabbalah tree of life. So if you look here, we have a dark pillar and a light pillar. If you look at the card, we have a light-skinned guy and a dark-skinned guy. That's going to stand for the two pillars in regards to the tree of life, as I just mentioned. Now, that symbolizes that you are somewhere, you know, on your spiritual journey in regards to the tree of life. Because if these two people represent the dark pillar and the light pillar, then the sword that's coming down, stabbing the heart in the middle, is symbolizing something to do with the middle of the tree. That's what I'm getting from this. So what I can tell you from this is that for my number twos, right now and within the rest of this week, the energies that you're going to be feeling, there is going to be something that is going to come across your path that is going to challenge you mentally, and it's going to emotionally hurt you, okay? But I want you to understand this. Whatever it is that emotionally hurts you within this week, I want you to understand that that was destined to happen. It was supposed to happen. And what it's trying to show you is that your mind is more powerful than your emotions. And when I say your mind is more powerful than your emotions, I'm not like saying one's better than the other. They're both very important. But what I am saying is that the universe is mental. The universe is not emotional. That's an Egyptian principle. The universe is mental. So to recognize as a human being that has a spirit that you have emotions, but your emotions are not you, is going to be key for you moving into this next week. Because something is going to challenge you where there is going to be that hurt that happens, and it may most likely be something where you've come from a place of good intention, you're trusting your heart, but then something still comes in and hurts you emotionally. But when that thing comes, whatever it is and however it manifests, you have an opportunity to recognize that it's just an emotion. And it's going to give you an opportunity to, even though it hurts, to alchemize the pain, alchemize that triggered emotion that it may bring to the surface, and recognize that it's still okay, and that you're now able to move farther in your own spiritual self-development, because that thing that's going to hurt you, it most likely is going to be something that's been on your mind for a while. There's something that you've been kind of like, I don't necessarily want to say holding on to, but something that's been on your mind. It's something that you've been thinking about, like, oh, I really hope this doesn't happen. I really hope this doesn't happen. This better not happen. This better not happen. But I feel like it's gonna happen. Something is gonna happen that you don't want, but that thing that's gonna happen is going to teach you how to be this much more formless. It's gonna teach you how to understand the worst just happened, it hurts, but now I'm okay. But it wasn't actually that as bad as I thought it was. It's gonna happen, it's gonna suck, and it's gonna hurt, and you may be emotionally hurt from it. But it's going to teach you that although it happened, you can move forward and you can heal yourself and you can process it. And because you process it, that same thing can't affect you the same way ever again. And this may even be something that's karmic, which means that you may have made certain decisions in your past that right within this week are going to come back to the surface, and you're going to have to live those experiences from in the past. You may not have been conscious of the decisions that you're making, and now you're reliving them within this next week that's coming. And to relive them, you're going to have to go through that pain, because it's going to have to process, and it's going to feel emotionally it's going to emotionally hurt you, because remember, there's a sword stabbing the heart, and you may be trying to overthink it, like, oh my God, like this can't happen or this shouldn't happen, and it's going to happen. But it's going to teach you that it happened. Now the only thing you can do is let it go and breathe. Breathe in through the nose and then out through the mouth, and it's done with. And now you can move forward with much more freedom on your journey. And the sun in the background emanating all the rays is symbolizing that. It's symbolizing that there is going to be a strong sense of self-empowerment that's going to come from whatever experience that's going to come your way. That will emotionally hurt you. It's going to hurt your heart. But when you overcome that and when you move through it and when you process it, you're going to gain a level of self-empowerment that is probably beyond what you're used to experiencing. Now there's the planetary influence that is behind this card is Saturn, so that's also symbolizing that there is going to be a level of restriction. There's going to be a level of discipline that you need to apply. You're going to need to try to be impeccable, which means making the best decisions that you possibly can so that when this experience comes about, you're going to be ready to handle it. So the experience itself is going to be sort of chaotic. So you need to make sure that you're in balance. You need to make sure that you're on your P's and Q's so that you can bring order to this chaotic situation that's going to rise these very strong levels of emotions within you. That's going to hurt the heart. But once again, if you are in alignment and you are being impeccable, you are going to gain a lot of self-power from this experience. This is going to literally thrust you much farther in your own spiritual self-development. But once again, there is going to be a sense of restriction, a sense of discipline, a sense of order that needs to be in place while this is happening. And then the swords always represents mental. So the swords is connected to the element of air and it's mental. So there's a mental influence behind this, which means the emotions you're probably experiencing or are going to experience leading up to this thing that's going to happen, that's going to kind of throw you out of your comfort zone. You're going to be mentally trying to overanalyze it, mentally trying to maybe make it not happen, or mentally engage deeper than you probably should. So my best advice to you is to just let your spirit take you through the experience that you are already predestined to go through, and try not to overanalyze it with your sense of self or with your sense of ego. Let it happen, embrace it, and then you can bring conscious awareness to why you had to go through that experience once it's finished and once you've embraced it. So that's what I'm getting from there. And then there's also a Hebrew letter on here. So let me break down the Hebrew letter. Okay, so I thought there was a Hebrew letter associated with this card, but actually it's just a weird zodiac looking sign that's not typical. So the zodiac, it's not a Hebrew letter. Instead, it's a zodiac sign, which represents Libra. So for my number twos, once again, balance, being impeccable, making sure you're disciplined in taking care of your health, taking care of your mental state, to prepare you for this experience that's going to cause you to, kind of be shaken up a little bit. It's going to move your heart. That's going to be extremely important to keep in mind leading up to this experience, and then gaining the value that you can gain once it's over and once it's finished. So Libra energies are definitely something that you want to be integrating within this next week to come for my number twos. Okay, but other than that, that's going to wrap it up for my number twos. Now I'm going to go into the number threes. Okay, so for my number threes, I am going to pull your card now. Okay, so I got everything I need to know. This is what you chose, number threes. which is the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, I'm going to zoom it in so you can see that. All right, so we have the Knight of Pentacles here. So what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a guy who's dressed up in a green, pretty much like green drapes. And he's got these like little horns that are popping out from the top of his head. And it looks like in between them there's a small little pentacle. And he's also wearing a necklace that has a big pentacle on it as well. And on his shoulders he has two what looks to be like bull heads, small bull heads that have horns on them. And in his left hand he's holding on to what looks to be like earth. It's like some like small roots. He's holding on to some small roots. And in his right hand he's grasping onto the horse that he's riding. So he's riding a brown horse that is in motion. It's like traveling. Now there's all this grass that is growing up right up into where he's sitting on the horse. So the grass is like rising up to him. And there is a tree with no leaves on it that is sprouting up behind him, directly behind the horse. Now in the background you see the sky, and you can tell that the sun is behind a cloud, but the sun is shining really bright because you can still see the rays of the sun even though the sun itself is behind the cloud. So basically what I'm getting from this card is, first thing I want to say for my number threes, Pentacles is always usually a good card to get. Okay, there's not many Pentacles that are bad. So Pentacles always represents abundance. A pentacle is a golden coin, and it can mean earthly things. It could also mean like connections to earth, and we do have a lot of earth symbolism within this card. It can also mean grounding, but in its totality, Pentacles are great. Pentacles are golden and they're valuable and they're abundant. Okay, people want Pentacles. They want the golden coins. So what I'm getting from this card for my number threes is that you right now, and for the rest of this week, this is going to be a big influence of your week. You're at a place in your life where you have made some progress, spiritually speaking, and you are focused and you're ready to make more progress. You're like, I have gotten to this level where I'm at now, and I'm ready to get to the next level. And not only are you ready to get to the next level, but you are going to get to the next level. You're like, I'm getting there. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm gonna get there. And you have a grounded sense of understanding that this is very possible for you. Like, there's not gonna be much that can throw you off of your track. There's not gonna be much that's gonna get in your way, because you're so focused on the idea that your spiritual self-development is the most important thing. And that you understand that when you get to the place where you reach your highest potential, that's when you can start creating your physical reality on top of that. Think of it like you've created the foundation and now you can build on top of the foundation. And if you have a solid foundation, what can take down what you build on top of it? Not much, right? So I'm seeing the guy sitting on the horse, and he's draped in the green, and the green once again is connecting back to Venus. Venus is harmony, it's attraction, it's love, it's abundance. Venus is a planet that people really love the energies of, but he's draped in that. So he's draped in a level of abundance. And not only is he draped in abundance and in harmony and in Venus-like energies, but he's wearing the pentacle around his neck that's symbolizing, yes, I have reached a level of harmony, I have reached a level of abundance and attraction towards my spiritual journey. Meaning I am well aware of where I'm going and where I'm headed, and sort of aware of how I'm going to get there. You may not know logically or analytically exactly how you're going to get there, but you feel it. You're like, I am going to get there, and I know I am, and I know kind of how I'm going to get there, but maybe not 100% logically. It's like a really strong intuition, a really strong knowing. He's grasping onto the roots with his left hand. The left hand is the feminine hand. The left hand is the receptive hand. So the fact that he has the roots in his left is symbolizing that he's grounded within his feminine energy. Okay, it's very feminine, very grounded. Okay, The fact that he has horns coming out from his headpiece, which is a green drape, represents he has spiritual power. Horns always represent power. They represent wisdom. And he's got that. He has it on his head, and he's a symbol of power. So whoever my number 3s are, you once again, this is indicating that you have already made progress on your spiritual journey, and you are aware of your own power, and you're grounded in that. And that same awareness and that same understanding of what you are in this current moment is what's going to push you even farther on your journey and get you even farther, because you are still going to face different types of challenges, different types of ordeals within this next week that is going to thrust you. It's going to be the catalyst for you to move even farther down your path. Okay? So once again, he's got the 2 bulls' heads on his shoulders. Once again, they both have horns representing power on the right shoulder and the left shoulder. So that means he's balanced between his feminine and masculine energies, and not only balanced between them, but has power between the masculine and feminine energies. So this card is indicating a lot of power. But he's riding the horse. And the horse is signifying that he's traveling. And he literally is traveling. Like, the horse is like onwards. The horse is moving. And it looks like it's moving fast. So he is on a journey. And he knows he's on this journey. And he understands it's not done. He understands there's a little bit more he's got to go through to really get to the place where he knows he's going to get. So he has this understanding of what's ahead of him, this level of knowing that there's this place of abundance and this overflow of good experiences and even just, you could almost say, like, better things. And when I say better, what I mean by that is just like a place where you're like, I've gotten so far and I'm there. Like I've worked so hard for this moment, and now it's starting to come to fruition. Now it's starting to actually manifest. This is the energy that I'm getting from this card, that he knows that's what's ahead of him, and that's part of the reason why he's worked so hard on his spiritual development thus far. And he's still traveling, so he knows there's a little bit more he still, once again, has to go through to fully push through to that level of abundance, and to push through to that state of full grounded foundation. So in the background, as I said, there's a tree that's popping up with no leaves, which is also signifying the tree of life. And signifying he's still traveling through the tree of life. And it's cool because this card gives me a very clear Hebrew letter. So let me go ahead and break down what the Hebrew letter is. Okay, so the Hebrew letter that you pulled is He. It stands for He, and it means window. Okay, it is the 5th Hebrew letter, and it stands for window. All right, so let's see here. So interesting. So in regards to the tree of life, this would be path number 15, okay? So where that's going to be located is right about here. So path 15 is right here, okay? So you're right here, and you're pulling on these energies from Tifereth, which is the center of the tree. And now you're moving all the way up to one of the higher spheres, right? This is the higher supernal triad. You're pulling on energies from the higher spheres. You're not fully opening it. You're not fully activating it, because to do that, you have to cross the abyss, okay? Now, you may be pulling on these energies from Chokmah, one of the higher spheres, to prepare you to eventually, at some point, cross the abyss. But before you cross the abyss, you want to get to this sphere and then this sphere. So it looks like this is definitely the energies that you're pulling on right now from the center of the tree. So you've already gone from here to here to here to here, and now you're here. And now it's looking like you want to go even farther. So you're pulling on energies from one of the higher spheres, which represents wisdom, so that you can learn what you need to learn to then go through your next level of initiation, which is going to come from Gavura, and then your last one on the lower planes, which is Chesed. and then that would be the end of the fiery initiations. Then that's when you would make the decision if you want to go farther and cross the abyss, the hidden sphere right here, and go to the higher spheres and open these up. You could think of all these spheres as different power zones within your own body. Okay, so that's locating that. Once again, you've already gotten pretty far on your journey. You're at a place of, and that's exactly why there's so much green symbolism. That's why the abundance is there, because the place that you have been in, or where you recently have just got to, is the middle of the tree, which is beauty, which is balance. It's also the conscious awareness of your own spirit. So it looks like that's what you just recently uncovered. But what this card is signifying to me is that now you're gaining the wisdom from having got to where you are now. So having already gone that far on your spiritual journey, now you're gaining wisdom about, you know, all the experiences that you previously have went through and where you are in this current moment. So you're gaining a lot of wisdom about your own spirit, about your own potential, about your own power. And what that's doing is that's fueling this subconscious deep feeling within you that's urging you to go even farther on your journey. And that's exactly what you're wanting to do. You're like, okay, like I feel the beauty from this. I feel the wisdom. I feel the knowledge, the understanding, the power, but I want to go farther. And that's exactly what this card is representing. He's like, I'm going to go farther. And that's what I'm getting from here. So we also have two elements that are also attributed to this card. I'm going to pull my book out to break those down. Okay. So the elements that I have is fire and earth. Okay, so it's exactly what I was just talking about. So fire, remember what I said in regards to the tree? These are the lower, right here, Malkuth, Yesod, Hod, Netzach, Tiferet, Gavura, Chesed. These are the lower 7 realms of fire. So the fire element is signifying that you are going to be traveling through the last 2 fiery realms. And actually, in regards to initiation, this is actually fascinating. If this is where you're located, which it's showing me energetically and spiritually, the next level of your initiation, if you were going in order, which you are, is the realm of fire. This is ruled by Mars. Okay, this is literally fire. Known as the most fiery sphere and one of the most challenging spheres on the tree of life. So it would make sense that you're gaining wisdom of your own higher self, your own spirit, to then be ready to go into this next level of challenge and initiation, and then from there to here to finish the lower 7 realms. And then the earth aspect is signifying that the challenges that you're going to be experiencing going farther into your journey are going to be real physical challenges. Okay, they're going to actually manifest like in your day-to-day life, and that's what's going to flesh out the inner wisdom, knowledge, and understanding and power within yourself to have gone through these ordeals and through these little challenges. But at the same time, these earthly challenges that will present themselves as you move farther on your journey are also going to reap, at the same time as you're going through them, they're going to reap earthly rewards. So there are going to be subtle things that you're going to be adding into your real, actual day-to-day life that are going to be very valuable for you for the rest of your life. Okay, so I just want to make sure that's clear as well. So for my number 3s, that's what I'm getting. You know, this is going to be a week of, you know, really absorbing a lot of that wisdom that you've been really absorbing a lot of that wisdom that you've obtained and where you're at now. And also within this week, that energy is going to push you to go farther on your journey. And not only is it just going to push you to go farther, but you are going to go farther. And basing it off of the tree of life, that kind of gave you some perspective on what to expect next. You're going to be moving into the sphere of Gavura and then Chesed in your near future. Okay, so that's where I'm going to leave it. That's my number 3. So that's where it is. I'm gonna wrap it up here. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up. Also hit the notification bell because I post videos as often as I can. And I'm gonna be doing this weekly. Okay, this is a new thing I'm adding to my channel. I'm doing this weekly. Also hit the subscribe button because I love to see my subscribers go all the way through the roof. And I want to get this information out there as well. More people that see it, the more it helps mankind evolve, and the more it helps the mass collective. Now, with that being said, I want to say this as well. Go ahead and drop down in the description, and at the second link below, that's going to take you to a link that says Square Appointments, where you can literally book your own personal reading with me, okay? Now, in that personal reading, what I do for that is I use 3 cards for you, okay? I do a present, where you're located now, near future, long-term future. Okay, so the way I do it is I need 2 things from you. I need a 3-digit number that comes to your head so I can link you to my reading, and then I need the purpose for you getting the reading so that I can figure out what it is that you're trying to learn. So the purpose could be anything from like, what can I expect from going into this new job or this new experience, all the way to the purpose of this reading is I want to know where I'm at on my spiritual journey. That's a very common one that I get. So far with every reading that I've done so far, and I've done about 10 because I just opened this opportunity up, I've literally been able to locate where every single person has been on their spiritual journey in regards to Kabbalah. So I go through the entire reading and I'm breaking it down to all the subjective symbolism that I'm picking up. I'm also explaining things that my spirit is telling me to personally tell you as well. And then I can break down the Hebrew letters to literally locate where you're at in regards to this, the Kabbalistic tree of life on your spiritual path. And then I can even explain what to expect moving in the future. So it's a very powerful thing, and it's a very powerful reading to get. And I really don't know anybody else that's doing readings the way that I'm doing them right now. So once again, if you want to be able to book your reading, it costs $40. What you do is you go to that second link below to the Square Appointments, and it pops up a calendar, and you can literally just book your reading right there. The way that I do the readings is I do the readings on my own time. So I figure out you book your appointment. I will then do the reading by myself. And when I finish the reading, what I do is I take my camera and I record myself breaking down the entire reading afterwards. The reason why I do the reading by myself is because I can get much more in my zone. It's a lot easier for me rather than holding my phone up, making sure, I'm talking to you while I'm doing the reading. I can just completely tap into my spirit, completely do the reading, be in my own zone, as I said, and just do it that way. It's a lot easier and it's much more effective for me to do it that way. Although I don't mind if you prefer to do it live, I can still 100% do it live and it'll still be a great reading. I'm just letting you know what I prefer, but that's how I do my readings. So once again, it's $40, you book your appointment. I record the entire breakdown of what all the cards mean. Then I send the videos to your phone or to your WhatsApp, whatever is more effective in regards to the connection and how I can send the videos over. And then after that, all I need is your feedback, because I'm collecting all the feedback from all my readings, so I can create like a little portfolio. And so far, every reading has been great feedback, and I really like doing it at the same time. So definitely check that out. That's going to be in the second link below. It says Square Appointments. Okay. Now, what I want to say is definitely go and check out the first link in my description. That's going to take you to my Patreon. Now, on my Patreon, I have exclusive content that's not on my YouTube channel. There's about, I want to say 70 plus posts right now, and most of them are videos, okay? So basing it right off of, this reading that I did today, a lot of what I talk about on my Patreon is the Kabbalah. So on my Patreon specifically, I break down all of the Kabbalistic spheres on the Tree of Life, and I give you an understanding of what the Tree of Life is. And as I said, I break down every sphere individually, giving you the attributations, giving you the symbolism, the planetary influences, the spirits that reside in the spheres. And then on top of that, I break down my own personal experience having worked through that entire sphere myself. Because remember, at the end of the day, I'm a professional occultist who's fully initiated in Kabbalah, meaning I've literally traveled through all of these spheres and have my own personal experience having worked through them. So I don't know anybody else that makes videos on this as well. And it's very valuable if you want to learn what these spheres really are about and what you can experience working through them, and then potentially locate where you are in the tree and then learn about that sphere so you can expect what you're going to be going through in your near future and in your long-term future. Okay, so that's going to be in my second link of my Patreon. I'm going to leave that there. There's also other videos in the nature of actual spiritual practices that I perform on camera, and I teach you how to perform them yourself. And then there's other videos that I like to call educational entertainment, which is a video that's entertaining, but at the same time it's educational, meaning you're getting a lot of value from it, although it's an entertaining video. So once again, that's going to be in the very first link at the top of my description. And in order to gain access to the exclusive videos on my Patreon, you have to at least be a tier 2 member or up. So in order to be a tier 2, it costs $9.95 a month, and that is a reoccurring payment. And if you do the math, that literally will come out to less than $1 a day. So there is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be able to afford that, especially with the value that I have on there, and that is a promise from me to you. Altogether, there's 4 tiers. As you go up in tiers, the benefits increase as well. So with that being said, I would love to give a special shout out to the highest tier members of the Patreon. I'm going to have their names mentioned directly below that Patreon link, the very first link in the description. So huge shout out to you, ladies and gentlemen. I highly appreciate you, and your support does not go unnoticed. And then for the Patreon members in general, I just want to say I appreciate all of you for taking your spiritual practices to the next level and taking it a little bit more seriously than the average person, because obviously that's great for you and it's great for me at the same time. It's great for the mass collective, right? Knowledge is power. So, and then with that being said, I would love to give a special shout out to all my YouTube followers. I love and appreciate all of you as well. Okay, so with that being said, I'm gonna wrap it up right here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day or night wherever you are, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.